Today, we're diving into one of the wildest thought experiments I've ever come across. It's about how we, right now, can leave a warning message for a future that is so far away it's almost impossible to even imagine. We're talking about the legacy of our nuclear age, a problem that literally lasts for 100,000 years. So let's just jump right into it. Think about this. How would you communicate a deadly, invisible danger to someone in the year, let's say 10,024? They're not going to speak English, they won't share any of our culture. Heck, we don't even know if they'll be human as we know it. But the poison we've buried in the ground? Yeah, that will still be just as lethal as it is today. To really get your head around the scale of this, you have to look at this comparison. Everything we've ever written down, from the very first scribbles on clay tablets to every book, every website, every text message, all of that fits into about 5,000 years. The danger from this nuclear waste will last at least 20 times that long. Our entire recorded history is just a tiny, tiny blip on the timeline of this problem. Okay, so what makes this stuff so dangerous for so long? The answer isn't magic, it's physics. It's all about how the very atoms we've split apart behave over incredible stretches of time. It all boils down to this one concept: half-life. It's basically the time it takes for half of a chunk of radioactive material to break down into something else. But here's the kicker. It's a fixed rule of the universe. You can't speed it up, you can't slow it down, you can't heat it up or crush it under a mountain. It doesn't matter. It just ticks along at its own pace. And what is that pace? Well, just look at that number. 4.5 billion years. That's the half-life of uranium-238, which is the main ingredient in spent nuclear fuel. And to put that into perspective for you, that's roughly how old planet Earth is. The waste we have created today will still be giving off dangerous radiation long after our sun has burned out. It's just mind-boggling. And it's not like the uranium just disappears cleanly. No, it decays in this long, nasty chain of other radioactive elements. It's like a toxic family tree. It turns into thorium, which turns into radium, which turns into things like radon, a radioactive gas you can actually breathe in. Each step has its own dangers and its own half-life. And, this isn't some far-off theoretical problem. Back in 1979, a dam at a uranium mill in Church Rock, New Mexico, completely failed and unleashed this massive flood of radioactive waste. And because of those ridiculously long half-lives we just talked about, 99.9% of that radiation is still right there, today, in the soil and water. It doesn't go away. So we've established that the physical decay of these atoms is incredibly, painstakingly slow. But you know what decays way, way faster? Meaning. Our words, our symbols, they rot. And it turns out that might be the harder problem to solve. Take a look at this. Any idea what it says? Believe it or not, that's English. It's the very beginning of the epic poem Beowulf, written only 1,000 years ago. Just one millennium, and our own language has become total gibberish to us. This is something called language rot. Now, imagine trying to write a message that lasts for 100,000 years. It's basically impossible. There's actually a technical name for this problem. It's called semantic drift. It's just the natural way that words and symbols change their meaning over time. What starts out as a clear symbol for danger can end up as a curiosity or even, a cool fashion statement. And the perfect example of this is the good old skull and crossbones. For hundreds of years, it meant one of two things: pirates or poison. Either way, it was a crystal clear message to stay away. But today, you can buy a t-shirt with it at the mall, it's on jewelry, it's on brand logos, it's become cool. The meaning has drifted so much that its power to warn us is almost totally gone. So this brings us right back to the central challenge, doesn't it? If we can't use words because of language rot, and we can't use symbols because of semantic drift, what do we have left? How on earth do you shout danger across an abyss of 100,000 years of time? Well, the brilliant scientists, artists, and linguists who worked on this realized they had to get radical. They needed to bypass language and culture completely. They decided they had to speak to a much older, much more universal part of the human brain. And this wasn't just some casual brainstorming session. This was a formal government project, which resulted in something called the Sandia Report. A whole team of experts was brought in to design a warning system that didn't rely on knowledge but on instinct. A shared, primal, universal human instinct: fear. The whole goal was to make the place feel dangerous. So what does a language of fear even look like? Well, you don't write it, You build it. They came up with these incredible ideas based on something called hostile architecture, things that are just hardwired into our lizard brains to avoid. Imagine a landscape of thorns, giant, sharp, man-made spikes bursting out of the ground, or a field of enormous, jagged blocks, all at weird angles, so it's unsettling and difficult to even walk through. The idea wasn't just to make it ugly, it was to create a place that feels fundamentally wrong on a gut level. And this part is absolutely critical. The warning has to repel people, not attract them. You can't make it look like some kind of epic tomb or a mysterious temple, because that just screams, hey, come explore me, to some future Indiana Jones. The goal is what they call psychological deterrence. It has to feel like a cursed place, a place of dread that you just instinctively want to get away from. And just in case someone still made it through all that and could read, the team drafted this text. It's meant to be carved in every major language we have, and its power is in how stark and plain it is. It's an anti-monument. It's designed to strip the place of any possible glory or value, just flat out telling you, turn back, there is nothing good here for you. But there's a catch. Even with all of this incredible, forward-thinking design, the team ran headfirst into one final and deeply unsettling philosophical problem, a real paradox at the very heart of their mission. And here it is. The very act of creating a massive, permanent, strange-looking structure to warn people away might be the very thing that makes them curious. I mean, think about it. Why do we visit places like Stonehenge or the pyramids? Because they are ancient, mysterious, and monumental. By trying so hard to build something that screams, go away, we might accidentally create a landmark that screams, come look at me. So that leaves us with this huge final question. If our languages are guaranteed to rot away and our cleverest symbols will lose their meaning, and even our most terrifying warnings might just backfire and attract people, what is our real duty to the deep future? We are creating that future right now. We are the ancestors, and the choices we make, the legacy we bury, will matter for longer than our species has even existed. So what does it really mean for us to be good ancestors?